I had decided that I was going to be an atheist because I didn't believe in God anymore. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't seem rational to me.
But how was your upbringing?
My upbringing was from the Episcopal Church in the United States, which is a kind of loose version of the Catholic Church. It's the Church of England. It's called Episcopal in the United States. But I never really, I went to church, I enjoyed it, sort of. Mostly it was an obligation to my parents, so I would go. But I decided it didn't connect with me, and that I just wanted to be free of it. So I made a formal declaration to God that I would no longer be involved in any prayers or attendance at any of his rituals, and I would, if he existed, he would have to prove it to me. So he did. He did prove it to me. One day, when I was with a friend, we were lying on our backs in the grass looking up at the sky, and it was the daytime, and I knew that there were stars beyond the blue. I couldn't see them because the sun was out, but I knew the stars were up there. And so I started to look for the stars that were unseen in the vast expanse of the blue sky. And as I looked, I kept like pushing my attention further and further out. And suddenly something happened, and I just, I could say at the time I didn't know what happened. I just became one with everything. I became the universe. And I didn't even realize that I had become that until after it was over. I suddenly, came back to realizing, oh, I'm lying here on the ground and I'm looking at the sky. But something was different. And little did I know that everything is different. My whole world changed in that moment. I have no idea how long I was looking at the sky, how long it lasted, how long I was in this space of being everything, yet nothing at the same time. And when I came out, I stood up, and my friend and I was there, and all I could say to him is, I'm one with you. But I'm not only one with you, I'm one with the space between us. And I'm one with the tree over there, and I'm one with the butterfly. I'm one with everything. And he kind of looked at me and didn't get it. I could tell he didn't get it. But I didn't care that he didn't get it. Because it was a totally new reality for me, and it was real. Yeah. So I just walked home, and that night when I went to bed, I was afraid that I would forget that I was one with everything. So I put a big number 1 on a piece of paper, and I put it on my mirror over my dresser, just so when I woke up in the morning, I wouldn't forget that I was one with everything. And I went to bed. Well, when I woke up, there was no way I could forget. This thing had become so permanent in my experience that I was living in a completely different way. And yet it was personal, and I couldn't really explain to anyone except that I felt like I had discovered a secret that nobody else knew about. And when I tried to tell people about it, they looked at me kind of quizzically, and some of them suggested that I go see a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Some of them suggested that I was on a drug, which I was not. Drugs wear off, and this hadn't worn off. And some people suggested that I go read about different philosophers who had this theory of being one with everything. So I did that. I started reading about all the philosophers. I was wanting to find someone else who was having this experience. I would talk about it and people wouldn't really know what I was talking about. So I started to feel very isolated, although I was one with the person I was talking to. Mm-hmm. So the story is, it never left me. It was sort of like indelible ink. It was just permanent in my awareness. And I just got used to living with it. I did still, however, keep asking people, have you ever heard of anyone else living in this oneness? Or where could I find other people? And I went to all kinds of things. I went to, back in the, when I was in the university, they had things called encounter groups where people would challenge you on your beliefs. I went to those. I went to ashrams. I went to
Didn't it
groups.
change everything in your life? Because
of
you're
course.
working different and nothing is...
Yeah, it changed everything.
Yeah.
In fact, I knew that God now existed. Okay. In fact, I was God because I was everything. I was also God.
You immediately knew that.
Yes, I experienced that I was God. But I wasn't the only one who was God. I realized you are God also. And we are one in this beautiful, universal experience of the divine being things, being objects. So I now could not be an atheist anymore. God had proved itself to me. So I went on for a couple of years really looking for someone who was having this experience. And finally someone told me I should meditate. Mm-hmm. So I went to a place and I learned how to meditate. I learned TM, Transcendental Meditation. And there I was also experiencing this oneness, and I was waiting for someone to talk about it. And finally, on the third night of my check-in meeting, which after I'd learned, they talked about something called cosmic consciousness. And I thought, that's what this is. That's what I want to learn more about. And so I asked the teacher, do you know anyone who is living in this consciousness? And of course, he said, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the originator of Transcendental Meditation, is definitely living, at least in cosmic consciousness. Mm-hmm. So my plan was to meet him. Mm-hmm. But that took at least a year to organize. I did go, and I went to a preliminary course for those who wanted to be teachers. I didn't know if I was going to become a teacher because it all depended on whether Maharishi passed my oneness test.
Mm-hmm. You have a oneness test for him.
Yeah.
Not that he
Yes.
tests you, but
I had developed this test to determine if other people were experiencing this oneness. And it was, I think of it as kind of silly now, but at the time I would look into someone's eyes, and if they could hold my gaze without looking away or dropping away or pulling away, I would meet them in the oneness. And I felt that, okay, they have the oneness because they're not afraid to unify with me in it. So, but I didn't find anyone who could do it.
Oh.
I have found nobody who could do it.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. So I had to test Maharishi. And I went to the course, and it was wonderful because it was explaining all my experiences were being explained. I was understanding so much more about what I was living. And the only thing is I hadn't tested him with the oneness test. I finally got an opportunity to sit with him individually, and I looked him in the eyes and stared into his eyes and absolutely fell into this infinite wholeness space again, just through his eyes. And I just tumbled in to this vast, unlimited oneness, unity, wholeness, but deeper than I had ever done before. He was living it deeper, definitely deeper than I was. And I felt, okay, I can really learn something from this person. So I signed on and became a teacher of TM, Transcendental Meditation, and taught meditation for many years. And it was very, very wonderful, very fulfilling, met other people who were on this path of evolution and enlightenment. But then something else started to happen for me. My heart was really growing. This quality of love started to just fill me and expand. And it wasn't love so much for a person. It definitely wasn't. It was just pure love flowing. So I felt love for everyone. But more and more I was yearning for an object of adoration. I was really yearning for a personal relationship with the divine. I wanted to talk to God. Mm-hmm. I had some questions to ask. I had answers to get. And I was experiencing God as this infinite oneness, this beautiful wholeness, but I wasn't experiencing God as in a personal relationship, as someone I could go and ask my questions to and could get answers. It wasn't enough just to ask questions. I mean, people do that in prayer all the time, but I needed answers. So I decided I had to find the kingdom of heaven. I had to knock on the door of God in whatever heaven was.
Yeah.
And
that time your age was, in the meantime?
Well, that was about 18, 20. I was probably by then around... This was 20 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went on for 20 years?
Oh, yeah.
With this kind
Right.
of TM meditation?
Yeah, 15 to 20 years, I'd say. 15 or 20 years.
And you were teaching that also?
I was teaching. That was my occupation.
Okay.
Full-time meditation teacher.
TM.
Yeah, TM meditation,
Yeah,
Transcendental Meditation. Yeah.
That's the real stuff, huh?
Yeah. Well, it definitely was the real stuff for me. It gave me so much experience of the infinite source and an understanding of the relative active field and how the two interact. You see, the beautiful thing about Maharishi Mahesh Yogi is he talked about the Vedas, the Vedic knowledge. And I am so grateful to have that Vedic knowledge because it gives this huge picture of the universe and how the knowledge is at the basis of the universe and how then it flows, mm-hmm. how it comes out into activity. And by hearing it, I started having those experiences. And I started wanting to ask God about it. Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask an authority about it. Maharishi was not available. I was teaching TM in the field out, in many different cities throughout the United States. And so, and I didn't have access to him, personal access, except once a year to go and meet on an advanced training course. But even then, he didn't always come to those courses. And so I didn't have anyone to ask. And so I thought, okay, I got to ask God. And I started, by that time I had a child, and she was an infant, and I would every day when she was napping, I would go into my room and close my eyes and say, okay, where is the kingdom of heaven? Show me the kingdom of heaven. And I would just wait. And nothing happened at first. It was just silence and darkness. And by darkness, I don't mean heavy darkness. I mean just the way it is when you close your eyes. There's just kind of space there.
Empty, something empty.
Yeah, something empty. And but I kept going there, and I kept saying, finally I said, okay, Jesus, show me the kingdom of heaven. You spoke of it. You told everyone the kingdom of heaven is inside. I'm looking inside. So show it to me. And again, months went by, and I don't know if it was weeks or months, because now I don't remember the time. But I finally one day, I was very persistent, and I didn't tell anyone about it, not even my husband, because if I failed, I didn't want anyone to know. So I thought, okay, this is just between me and God. So one day as I was sitting there was a little sparkle of light in my awareness. And it was like I suddenly became alert because something was happening. And so I watched that sparkle of light, and it started to move and started to expand and started to dance before my closed eyes. And I got the feeling that the light was showing off. It was showing what it could do, how light could do all kinds of things. It could break into a billion little pieces and be little dots, or it could be a huge flow, or it could be just a brilliant sparkles. Anyway, light started to teach me. And I watched the light for quite a long time. Every time I went into I called it heaven research. And finally, let's see what happened next. I'm trying to shorten this up because really I did this over months, maybe years. I don't remember how long now. I'm still doing it.
Yeah,
but it's changed.
Yeah.
Because
you knew there was something more. You knew it.
Yeah.
Otherwise
I started using the light as a tool to bring in more light. So I started to say, it made me feel wonderful to have the light filling me and flowing in me. So when I was afterwards, when I felt, troubled or depressed or unhappy or angry, upset, I would pour the light into me. I would say, light is filling me now. More and more light is filling me. Again and again, I'm filling with divine light. And sure enough, the light would fill me. The light would do what I said, what I told it to do. And I would start to feel better. Well, after practicing with that, I decided to try it on other people. First guinea pig was my husband. And he would come home and sometimes he'd be irritable or, just out of sorts from work. And I wouldn't say it out loud, but I would think light is filling you. More and more divine light is pouring into you. Again and again, light is flowing into you. And I would just do that for several minutes, and he would change. So I realized that pouring light into another person had an effect on them. And now, many years later, I have developed a number of what I call vibrational tools, energy tools. And the divine light was my very first one. And I still use that. I still often will say, divine light is pouring into someone. I'll do it daily, in fact. Divine light is pouring into my day, and it changes your day. So anyway, I developed a number of techniques for connecting with myself. That's all I know is say with myself, but clearing the blocks, clearing the pain.
But first of all, there was just one spark of light.
Yes, one spark, one
And
glitter
then-
of light.
And then you saw, I can do something with that light.
Yes.
And then you found out this vibrational tools actually.
Yeah.
It was the beginning
Yeah,
of
it
that.
was the beginning of the vibrational tools that,
Yeah.
that I have created.
Yeah, but didn't you have the experience from, where's that light coming from? What is it? What can I see? Or
It came from anywhere. If I said divine light is pouring into me, it would pour in. If I said divine light is welling up within me, it would well up. If I said divine light is filling my cells, it would fill my cells. I learned how to watch the light. And when I closed my eyes, I would look for the light. I am deeply grateful for the skill I gained to learn how to transcend in my meditation, the transcendental meditation, because now what I was doing was I was able to experience that transcendental field and at the same time see where it started to flow into manifestation. I like to just sit there at that quietest level, I call it the subtlest level of creation, and watch the light flow like a wave into activity. And I started doing that, watching this manifestation of light come out of the infinite source, flow up like a wave. And then it would divide and into two, and then the two would divide into two more, and then two more, and finally, and there was this whole development of manifestation of light, all the way up to the material level, actually, where the light became atoms, and then started to create what we know of as matter. So I was watching that one day. It was a glorious, very uplifting, awe-inspiring thing to do, is to watch how the universe is created.
yeah, of course.
And so it occurred to me at one time and just spontaneously said, "Who are you?" And inside, from this deep knowingness came, I am the Divine Mother. I am creating the universe. And then, the light, then she started demonstrating to me everything that she was doing. It was all about light and its combinations, and not as light, not only as particles, but as waves, and how the waves would combine to create something new. Anyway, that was the beginning of my relationship with Divine Mother.
Wow.
And I started to have a personal relationship, talk to her, ask her things about everything. And now, what I do is I do Divine Mother healing with all of these vibrational tools that I've gained, who I now realize she gave to me because she is the light. The next vibrational tool I received, before I even knew who I was receiving it from, was Divine Love. And Divine Love is the most powerful healing energy in the universe. So then she taught me how to use these tools. And I now have a collection of about, 27, 28 vibrational tools to cleanse and clear not only our physical bodies, but our subtle energy field. Because our subtle energy field is more fundamental than the physical. And if we have blocks and confusion in the subtle energy, they will manifest as illness, relationship problems, financial problems on the surface. So what I do now is clear these disturbances for people and myself. I used myself as a the test case, clearing myself and then extending this, and now I do lots of clearing for others, and to clear the subtle energy that's gotten blocked and confused and distorted, bringing the life force back into someone's system. When life force is flowing without obstruction, that's when things work in our lives. That's when we're in alignment with the divine. That's when we accomplish our goals, when we get on to our purpose for being here. But when there are blocks in the system, there's challenge, there's pain, there's fear. So Divine Mother has taught me how to clear these energy blocks, and that's really what I'm doing now. Is I want to teach everyone else how to clear the energy blocks. And so I have something called a system of healing called Divine Mother Healing, and it's wonderful, and it develops a relationship with the Divine Mother of the universe, who wants so much to be a part of our lives. She is our mother. She created us, and we've kind of ignored her and forgotten that we have a Divine Mother who is completely loving. You access her in the heart. She creates the universe with love. And anyone who connects with her will feel this beautiful, unbounded power of divine love and its intelligence. It isn't without intelligence, it's with intelligence. And knowledge comes. I encourage people to call on Divine Mother and reference your heart, because that's where she's located. And that's where the knowledge is. And truly, as you work with her and you realize you're one, you're one with her. She is your divine self. And she wants us to realize this. You know, I've said this often, but the Divine Mother is coming forth today to unify our human family, which has become so conflicted, isolated, lost, afraid, separate from each other, and separate from God. So she's coming back to bring her family home. And you'll see Divine Mother, of course, I work with her all the time, but there are traces of her everywhere in the world where the Mother is coming forth. And she comes forth with love and heals with love. And she's very organic. She's hands-on. She's not something up in the sky sitting on a big throne. She's like right there with you, pulling us out of the mud. She gets herself all muddy, just pulling us out. And of course then her mud disappears as ours disappears. So I really encourage people to call upon the Divine Mother, to work with Divine Mother. And I'd like to give everyone these healing tools that I've created with Divine Mother. She's kind of guided me to create them. And that's really what I'm doing now. The beautiful thing about this method is it's not an intellectual idea.
Yeah.
It's not a concept. And she doesn't present herself as a concept. She wants, there is an understanding of who she is, and of course all the spiritual traditions have an expression of Divine Mother. They have different explanations of who she is. But this overall reaching, this wave of light, this intelligent wave of light that comes out of the unbounded, unmanifest field of wholeness, the infinite ocean, comes out with all love and is the overreaching Divine Mother. And all the individual mothers for the different religions are that, depending on the cultural tradition. So it's an experience. I encourage people. I offer an experience more than I give a little bit of knowledge. Well, actually, there's a lot of knowledge to be had, but let Divine Mother give you that knowledge. Connect with her and start asking her the questions. This truly is the kingdom of heaven. Living with the Divine Mother, having her, being able to access her daily. The more you practice it, the more you realize, you can live there on the inside. And we can actually, as you live in that space with her on the inside, your life changes on the outside. And even though there's harshness and roughness on the outside, we can bring this divine presence into that harshness and roughness through these vibrational tools. We don't have to be a victim of that anymore. We don't have to be a victim of other people's anger and attack and so on. We can change it, and we can protect ourselves by allowing this divine energy to come forth. One of the ways I encourage people to protect themselves is by closing their aura. Closing your aura really means lifting your vibration beyond the, whoops, sorry Joan, beyond the heavy, dense vibrations. And I have a method that was given to me to close your aura so that you're contained in yourself, and then any negativity that comes to you bounces off or gets completely transmuted. So the vibrational tool of closing your aura is a way to protect yourself. And as you grow in your inner light, in your inner life, this protects you from the harshness of the outer environment. But it does more than that. It actually transforms your outer environment because you're emanating such a powerful presence. It's really, the Divine Mother healing system is a system of healing that anyone can learn. And it's available. I have it on my website. I'm soon to be printing a book on it. I have, many different ways for people to download this system from the web.
The different tools.
The different tools, yeah. It's on my website in the store under Vibrational Healing Tools. Mm-hmm. I think it's called the Complete Toolkit of Divine Mother Tools. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So experience it for yourself. Yeah. I mean, the proof is in the experience, and that's what I'm inviting you to have, is an experience of Divine Mother. Use the tools to change your life and to step out of being a victim of the activities going on around you. Yeah. She really wants to empower you. That's the whole purpose, to empower you in your divine nature. You are a divine being living in a physical form. And she wants to empower each of us, you, into the recognition of your own divinity. You have a divine purpose. She wants to help you step into your divine purpose. It's so beautiful to work with her. I really encourage you to investigate this, to call her forth from within your heart and learn directly from Mother God. So what I began saying is I wanted to talk to God. I had questions. I found my mentor, I suppose you could say.
Answers.
I found the way to get the answers.
And is it, I can imagine we are all used to think about God as we know him from the Bible, and okay, they call him Allah, but you know, Allah, God, that kind of God is another kind of God, and the Divine Mother. But what is the difference between Mother God, Father God?
Mother, Father, God are one.
Okay.
The divine, it's the God presence. Mother, Father, God, the presence of this divinity. And Mother God is coming forth now on our planet because we need her so desperately. We need the nurturing qualities. We need the compassion.
Yeah.
We need the depth of her love. We need the nourishment that she provides. And so the Mother God is coming forth to balance our world, to balance the tremendous imbalance we see. That's why we're in so much trouble environmentally, politically, socially. We have such an imbalance that now the Mother is coming back to bring forth the love, the compassion, the cooperation, and the knowledge that you are one with her, that ye are gods. That is, and she wants to help you claim this, not in an egocentric way, in the heart center. Claim your divinity. It'll create humility, actually, true humility, to realize how beautiful and powerful you truly are. And it's a whole different level or in quality of power than this egoic power that we see so many places in the world. It's the power of compassion. It's the power of kindness. It's the power of enriching all life. So this is the power of the divine. This is who the Divine Mother is. And she's so accessible. She's right inside. And as you connect with her, you realize you and she are one. Wholeness. And then you can play as two in this universe of duality. You can talk to her, and it's really you'll get incredible answers. You'll be guided through the most difficult challenges in your life.
Yes,
And,
you are. But do you think everybody is able to?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have no doubt that everyone is able to. One of the things that had to happen for me is I had to clear blocks in my system. I had to clear mental attitudes. I had to clear fears. I had to clear blocks from my throat about speaking my truth. So clearing must occur. And that's something that again, these healing tools are clearing tools. I have two very powerful clearing tools. One of them is the go command, and the other one is the break command. The go command, when you notice an energy that is uncomfortable or a pain or something, you say with compassion, go into the light. Again, as I said earlier, what you say is powerful. You are a divine being. So what you say, you create, whether you know you're a divine being or not. And many people, unfortunately, are creating from their negative speech. But if you start to create from your positive speech, you will definitely shift your identity and your relationship with yourself. The other command is the break command. You see, we have all kinds of negative thought forms, that patterns, thought concepts, every thought we have is a vibration. It creates an energy around you. So when you have a negative thought repeatedly, like, I'm no good, I'm unworthy, I'm stupid, the negative self-talk that people have, frequently you build that energy around you. And then other people respond to you because vibrationally they're getting that, and they treat you like you're stupid, or they treat you like you're the enemy. Change that. Break those structures, their thought structures, by saying, break, break, break. I call upon Divine Mother, I call upon your favorite expression of God, Jesus, Mother Mary, Lord Buddha, Lord Ram, whoever your favorite person. Ask, break these structures of untruth. Break, break. And imagine around you in your auric field these frameworks and grids collapsing. Because that's what they are. They're subtle frameworks. They're subtle thought forms. Break, 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 break. It's a huge refresh. It just cleanses you tremendously. And some of us have had thoughts like this from early childhood that have built these structures that are kind of like imprisoning us in our negative thinking. Break, break. And when you have these structures, then the world responds to you the way you have thought, the way you have built your thought structure. So break, break, break. That's the break command, which I recommend. That's the other very powerful command. Go command and break command, and then flood yourself with divine light. Fill yourself with divine love. There's so much more I could tell you about these tools, and I will do that. I have done that. If you look for me on YouTube, Connie Huebner, you'll see that I have different vibrational tools on YouTube that I've explained, and get the vibrational tools. You are your own savior, really. You are your own savior. You are the divine who can save your life, can shatter the untruth that you've accepted.